What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Let the King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Folks, back on the Bossman Show. We're going to Bluefield, West Virginia, to Bluefield State. The Big Blue, Tony Coaxum here with me on the Bossman Show, their head football coach. Coach, good to talk to you, man. I come up a win. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Always good to come off the win. But like everybody, man, we enjoyed it Saturday night, Sunday, and now we got another one coming up in a couple of days.
And Coach, even though you was a comprehensive victory, always things to clean up and get corrected. So how's that been so far? We can practice how to let you guys here get too big, but clean up the mistakes and let's look forward to this next week gets here. Emery and Henry coming up here.
Yeah, that's kind of just a standard thing, man. That's our job as coaches to make sure, you know, it's hard to win a college football game, no matter who you play. And so again, you got to balance the act of enjoying that win and all the hard work you put into to get that win. And then, okay, now it's time to switch gears and move on. So like I said, we enjoy that Saturday and Sunday. Monday's our natural off day for our guys. And then we rolled right into Tuesday's practice. And from that point on, it's really been no mention of last week. And we're been focused on Emery and Henry ever since.
No doubt, Coach. And Coach, for you, man, it's about the journey, man. Bluefield had not had football over 40 years until you got there, man. So how was it coming into building a program from the ground up when they had football over 40 years, and now you're in year 3 now, see the success you all have from the work you put in?
Yeah, a lot of people, again, first time as a head coach and taking on a task like this, doing it from scratch. Everybody's like, "Are you crazy trying to, do something like that and build it from scratch?" But I look at things differently than most. There's opportunity to literally build a program the way I envision a football program should be built. You become a head coach and you take over a program that already has players and established. You still have to figure out, okay, these players and get to know them and see, okay, who fits your style of play, culture-wise, all those things. Well, we didn't have those problems. We didn't have those challenges, I should say, not problems. It was literally building it exactly the way we wanted it in our own mindset and our own vision. And that started with building the coaching staff, and then from there, getting players in. So it was challenging. Again, having to bring in, we brought in 80 players from the get-go, and going that route. But again, I think the part of the reason we were able to be successful so early on was that every player was handpicked from the get-go, and we were able to set them up not only in the culture part, which every coach has to go through, but we picked the guys specifically for our systems, what we wanted to run offensively, defensive, special teams wise. So every player that we picked was someone that we felt that fit that system. So that allowed us to be able to hit the ground running, in my opinion.
And Coach, speaking of that, man, I feel like it's something that's so important, being to mold and pick the right guy. So when you look for a young man, I know you look for him, what he does for you on the field, but off the field, what are you looking for character-wise in a young man to be a part of your program and the culture you're building at Bluefield State?
It's always, it's a little different of, there's a lot of it that what we feel that what our number one goal is. And our number one goal, in my eyes, isn't to win football games. It is in one way. It is very hard to win a football game week in and week out. But again, that's the easiest part of the job, because I think my number one goal and what we believe our number one goal here at Bluefield State with our coaching staff is to develop and grow and build young men to go out and be great, get their degrees, and then go out and do things that can impact this world in a positive way and change the world. So we look for young men that want to do that want to get an education, that want to better their particular circumstances, no matter whether they're coming from not so great surroundings, or even if they come from great surroundings, and build it up and continue to build on that and grow. So that's what we focus on, the young men that fit those things, that want to be challenged. We feel we run a pretty we let them know, hey, this is not going to be easy. This is not a thing where, hey, you're going to be given anything. You have to earn everything, because that's what life is. Life is not, you're not given things in life. And unfortunately, they've been kind of led to believe in the way the world runs right now that they're entitled to a lot of things. And that's not what the real world. So our mindset is we have to do a lot of deprogramming of that and just letting them know what the real world's about. And oh, by the way, if you do the things we ask you to do in the classroom, focus on academics, be the type of person in the community, be good to people, those things translate onto the football field and help you win ball games. So I think we kind of, in our mindset, it may be a reverse engineering of what a lot of other programs do. And I think that's, again, another reason why we've been able to be so successful early on.
And Coach, I was talking to one of my old coaches about me being always been 40 now, and things that he told me almost 20 years ago makes sense to me now. I'd apologize for being a knucklehead back in the day, because I thought I understood it, I didn't. But now, being an adult, I have my own business, own radio show, having to deal with things family-wise. Things he told me make sense now. I called him to say, I'm sorry. I apologize, because at the time I didn't listen to you, but now, sitting here almost 40 years old, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. And you said you're almost 40 years old. Well, I'm almost 50 years old. I'll be 47 in December. And but yeah, I mean, but that's just what it is. We all went through that to different extents. We all had coaches or elder people who told us certain things. We're like, yeah, right, man, whatever. And then, like you said, 10, 15 years later, like, you know what? If I would have listened to him then, I might not have had to deal with this, or I would have made a better decision here. That still goes on, and that's always going to go on. But that's just what it is. That process, continue to give back and continue to help mold and mentor young people. That's one reason I've always wanted to be in college coaching. I was able to fortunate enough to be in the NFL and win a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. But I always wanted to be a college coach because of the mentoring of the young men that this profession allows me to do. So again, that's what we think our number one goal is. That's what we focus on. And again, we feel if we do that the right way, show them what the real world is, give them those build off of the foundation that they're their support system has given them, and then maybe provide some level of support that they may not have. If we do that right, then we're going to win on our ball games.
Yes, indeed, Coach. I was asking his coach, Coaxum, about that point about developing young men. Being Bluefield State, I know it's not majority. That's HBCU, but it's not majority black anymore. But you're still coaching a lot of young black men and promoting young black men. About carrying that flag and to help develop this critical age, as we both know, mentioned 18 to 24 years old, giving that foundation to successful black men, adults in their lives, and have successful wives, families, and businesses after Bluefield State.
Again, that's the number one goal, and that we all need that. Everybody needs that. When you're 18, we didn't know. We thought we knew everything at 18, 19, and 20, and we didn't know anything. And it's no different. I think the one thing that's different is that there's been so much empowerment given and told that to make them feel like they know everything. And you want to let them know, hey, you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and make decisions. But there's still so much that they don't know. They're so inexperienced in their lives, and now they're making decisions that aren't the best for them because they're trying to make it on their own, because they've been told, hey, you're an adult, you can do this, you can do that, your life is up to you. And that's something that's true. But you have to be able to grow and learn from that and continue to get better in order to learn from other people so you can make the best decision for yourself. So we always try to tie everything that happens here on the football field. We try to find a way to tie it into everyday life. And that's the beauty of this game. It shows you so many different life lessons. And one of the most important ones is that you can't do it by yourself. No matter how great of a player you are in the game of football, you can't do it by yourself. Basketball is a little bit different. You got one great player, you can make a difference a lot more than one great player on the football field. So we always try to lean on that, and that's what we harp. Again, we let them know we're very direct with our guys and very upfront and very matter of fact that the world doesn't owe you anything. And relating it to being, to young black men, I tell our guys all the time, you have to understand that there's going to be a lot of times you just can't be good at your job. You have to strive to be great at your job, because unfortunately, a lot of times someone else who's not as good as you doing that job may get that raise, may get that promotion just because of their color of their skin, and not off of merit. So always strive for that perfection, so to speak, or be the best at what you can do in order to get what's coming to you. Because if you do anything less, you're opening up the door for people to use their own biases against you to not reward you for your hard work. So that's kind of what we lean on. And like I said, we're, in the 3 years we've been here, the minority population here at Bluefield State has started to change and grow and increase to look more like your traditional and HBCU, which is something that's very important.
And Coach, that's why I do for you all, because I know you all don't get covered unless you win a lot or something bad happens. Now, I'm an HBCU grad myself at Tennessee State, so I understand. And so we having been this blessing to have 5.5 billion listeners in Atlanta here, our own platform. It comes with challenges too. But in fact, I don't have to ask anybody, can I talk to you today? I can just ask myself. It's a wonderful thing in this in this business of media that I'm in. And it's just one of the things I feel like it's my duty as a servant leader and a servant of others to make sure I give y'all a platform to talk about your programs, without any bias, and with understanding of where you're coming from, because I lived it too.
Mm-hmm. And again, I didn't attend to HBCU myself. I'm a West Point grad and played Army football, but I have a lot of family members and friends who attended HBCUs, and it's very, very rewarding to be in the HBCU space like I am now and embracing it. And you're right, platforms like yours are very important to us. And like I said, we're very proud of the brand that we've built in the past 3 years. Because again, we've touched on it, building the program from scratch. But literally, it's everything. We designed the uniforms and even reshaped and rebranded the program with our dog head logo that we have here. in which we're very proud of. And like I said, we'll put our logo against any institution at any level. I just think that's how high quality and how legit that it is. And one of the most rewarding things, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and went back home last year for Christmas and hanging out with some friends of mine, and someone told me they were in the local mall and just in passing, hearing kids talking about Bluefield State and how they want to go to Bluefield State. We recruit very heavily back home in Charleston, but to hear that going around in the mall just in passing, that was really rewarding to hear that, hey, we're doing things the right way, and hearing it and seeing it. And again, 3 years ago, no one, that first time out on the road, we have to explain not only who Bluefield State is, where we are and all that, but now when people see this dog head, they say, hey, that's Bluefield State, and they know where we are. And that has happened pretty quickly. So again, that's something that we're proud of. And again, it wouldn't have been possible without the help of programs like yours and several others that are in the Twitter space and online and podcasts and things like that make it a point to highlight HBCU. So we thank you. And I think I speak for not just little old Bluefield State, but every other HBCU out there, for platforms that are out there that allow us to get out there and talk about our programs, our institutions, and the great student athletes that we have.
And Coach, you know what I find funny, and people are asking about something, you don't get mad about it. It's funny how some platforms like NFL, MLB, NBA, some college teams look down upon my platform because I'm not backed by somebody corporately or white. Mm-hmm. Like, if you can't respect independent Black media, I don't need to be at your building. But it's funny that you have all these Black players on your team on the field, showing Black men covering the team.
Yeah, like I said, it's a crazy
world. It's
world.
funny to be coach who it is.
Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in, and it's one of the things to where we're an HBCU, and our team is majority Black players, but we have players of many other ethnicities and on our roster. And the bottom line of how we go about doing things is teaching it is, hey, I tell our guys all the time, these are your brothers.
Yes.
Being an Army football player, that's what we are. We not only talk about brother, but we live it. And I've tried to bring a piece of that here with us. And we talk about that these are the individuals that 15, 20 years from now are going to be in your wedding and be the godfather of your children. And they're going to be the ones when, you need a transplant of some kind. It's going to be someone that you played with here at Bluefield State. They're going to be the first one in line to do it before your family members. And that's how it is. And a prime example of that from our first year, we had two young men that became part of our program. One was a white kid from Cleveland, Ohio, and another one was a Black kid from Alabama, from Mississippi, and they're best of friends. You saw one, you saw the other. They lived together, and you didn't see Damian, without Colin, and that's what they're going to be. They're going to be in each other's wedding one day. They're going to be there for each other forever, and that's the beautiful thing about this game, man. This world would be a lot better place if everyone in the world, not necessarily say played football, but was part of a locker room. Like a sport of football, basketball, baseball, it's part of locker room, because in locker rooms, people don't care what color your skin are.
Sure don't.
Do you have my back? Can I trust you to do your job? And are you going to be there for me? That's all it cares about. And if you had more people who were quote unquote running the countries or in charge of things or doing things like that, spend a lot more time in the locker room, we would be in a lot better place in this world.
No doubt, Coach. Let's kiss about how was it playing the Army, and how was that playing the Army and having to go through a cadet there in the West Point, going to classes and doing the Army drills as well and playing football. How was the experience up there for you?
It was the best experience of my life. There's a lot of misconceptions of it. We do a lot of our military things during the summer times. That's where it was different than most college athletes. Everybody else was, kind of in their summer classes and strength training and stuff like that. That's when we did all of our military things. Then once the school year started, it's pretty much being like a regular college student outside the fact that we wore uniforms. Days might have started a little bit earlier, but we got in and did our deal and went on and went to practice and prepared for games. And on Saturdays, we competed like everybody else. We didn't feel we were any different. We wanted to compete at the highest level, and I was able to do that and play against some guys that played on Sundays and beat some teams from Power 5 teams and guys that across the country that ended up doing a lot of great things. So, but it's shaped almost every aspect of my life. It's allowed me to be where I am today. Not only as a football coach, but again, the brotherhood that I have with my West Point brothers. We don't call each other teammates. We literally call each other brothers. Anyone that's ever met anybody that I played with at West Point, I don't say, hey, this is my Army football teammate. This is my Army football brother, because it absolutely means that to us. But it opened up doors for a lot of different things. I became a member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity at West Point. We started the chapter up there. And that's been a great influence on my life and shaped my life, and 25 years in the bond on that. And obviously my military background and gotten to play football. I didn't play football in high school. So I got to play in college and walked on and ended up starting for 3 years. So everything from West Point has shaped pretty much every aspect of my life. And I take so much lessons from there into civilian world, from my time as an Army officer, into coaching. And again, I wouldn't change a second of it.
No doubt. And back, I know when I played, I still didn't hear it. I had some of that old turf, so I wasn't playing on the old turf. Like I'll wear out there. I'll put on some sneakers. I wouldn't and run. And I was a wide receiver. I was putting sneakers. So how was it if you playing on that old concrete after turf?
I still have scars on my body and some turf burns on my body from the old turf at Mikey Stadium back in the day, the old Astro turf. So again, it is what it was back then. We didn't think nothing of it. At the time, it was kind of the new thing. You know what I mean? You look back on it now, you're like, man, that's some old stuff. But at that time, it was kind of okay. If you didn't have grass, that's what you had. So it's gotten better as time goes on, like most things. So again, those are the type of things you remember and you're fond of. Probably got a little extra aches in my knees from that hard surface, and I definitely got some bumps and scars in my body from it. But again, I wouldn't change any bit of it if I could. Enjoyed every second of it. It shaped me in so many different ways. I got to go back there and coach for 7 years. So again, people asked me. One of my players asked me it the other day. They were having a debate about college football teams, who's their favorite team growing up, and I said I've only really had two favorite teams. That's Bluefield State, where I'm coaching now, and Army football, because it's Army's always going to be in my blood, and obviously being here at Bluefield State, starting a program from scratch, it'll always be part of me, no matter what.
Yes, indeed. I said you from a great part of the country, the Low Country. I've been down a few times. He's my buddy down there, who my Geechee brothers down there. I've been down a few times, hung out, man. I enjoy the Low Country down there. It gives you that good vibe down there, man. So talk to people about Charleston, man. It's not that far from Atlanta here, where I'm staying right now. So about for those who don't know about where you're from and how cool it is, man.
Oh yeah, Charleston, South Carolina, man. It's a beautiful place. Right there on the water, great food, friendly people. It's one of the things. There's a good while where, from my time being in the Army and then coaching, I spent a lot of time where I didn't really get to go home much. But since I've been here back in Bluefield, it's only it's about 5 hours away. I've been able to go back a good bit, and I always will love home. I always be a Charleston boy at heart. And I love where I'm from. You know what I mean? And we do a heavy bit of recruiting from down there. We have from the day we got here, we got a lot of kids from the Charleston area and from South Carolina in general. My offensive coordinator, he's been with me from the start. Started out as my running back coach and just climbed up. He's from Charleston as well. And so we really hit it down there. And like I said, man, it's never really a stranger that you meet. You back home, you're riding down the street and car goes by, they blow the horn, you wave. That's just kind of how it is. Do you know that person? Nope. Don't know who they are, but that's just who we are. But I'm always going to love home. And like I said, I always, people try to, pump me up a little bit or pay me too many compliments or pat me on the back too much. I just tell, hey, I'm just a country boy from Charleston, South Carolina. That's always what I'm going to be. And I really am proud of where I'm from.
Now, Coach, you feel that with the portal and the NIL, where it is up in the FBS, FCS level, that you rather get your hands on better high school players because they're not getting looked at per se by the FBS, FCS guys like you used to. You can get kid to commit early. That's pretty talented. You can really develop them. Have you somebody really be a part of this big blue nation that you're building here for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think it's I feel for high school athletes getting recruited because, like you said, the portal has really changed the way it's really hindered their recruiting. Because you get a kid from high school that's really talented, and at that point it's always potential outside of just a bona fide quote unquote can't miss guys. You get a kid that's kind of on those fringes, and you're like, yeah, he's pretty good. He can be this in a couple of years. Well, there's a kid that's in the portal that may be just a year older that's been in a college program, been away from home for a year, has been in a weight program, and you have college film on him, who you're going to take that kid 9 times out of 10 just because there's more there. He can survive at a college level because you actually have proof of it. Where a high school kid is still all potential. So that's really had a negative impact on high school kids who normally would get offered and brought in to say a FBS or just a Power 5 or Group of 5 program and may sit for a little bit, a year or maybe half a season and get to play. Now those guys are getting pushed down because now with the portal, those kids that used to get those offers, they're not getting them. So now they get pushed down to the Group of 5 or FCS level. And then those FCS guys, they're getting pushed down to D2 level. So we are finding, particularly in the skill positions, you can find a lot of really good skill position guys who you're like, why is this guy sitting here? Why didn't he have any offers? Well, there's just none left because of the portal and everything's getting pushed down. So we've been able to find some really high caliber guys that come in and play right away and be really successful and are growing. And the biggest thing is just kids have to get an understanding of what that is and not fall in love with the what you see all the time on social media, D1 or bust type mentality. Because they take that into recruiting and, they kind of turn their nose up at a really good D2 program because they think they're a D1 player, and maybe talent-wise they are, but numbers-wise it just doesn't match up. And now they're stuck with nothing. And now they got to go kind of crawling back to those D2s and end up being, getting less of an offer or sometimes having to go to a JUCO or things like that. So it has affected them negatively. And, kids just have to understand, hey, find the program that's best for you, whether it's a D2, D3, NAIA, or D1, and then go be the best you can be. And then from there, the chips will fall however they fall. But the bottom line is you're still getting that education.
Yes, no doubt, Coach. This past weekend we saw here in the CIAA beating some MEAD schools, SIAC beating SWAT schools. So the talent gap is not that far away. It's just a matter of putting out good film. And I feel like you said, some guys get stuck on the way the division is. You can play there, fine. There's talent.
No
you got
question.
talent. The scouts fine.
Absolutely. And that's what the kids don't understand. And I think a lot of it is it's the instant gratification type of world we live in right now. That if you're not playing as a freshman, then there's something wrong with you. And now they kind of get a little antsy and leave a good situation, think they're going to get in a better situation. And what they don't realize a lot of times, jumping in the portal is tough. Let's say you're a quarterback and you're competing with 3 or 4 other quarterbacks. Well, if you jump in the portal, now you're probably competing with 100 quarterbacks, because, everybody's in there. And, oh, by the way, you may not have much film. So it's an education piece. It can be a very good tool if used properly and used rationally and not jump in off of emotion or just pressure of people on the outside who may have your best interests at heart, but just don't necessarily understand what the portal looks like and what it's about. But, just with proper education and patient and using it the right way, it definitely is a very valuable tool.
Well, Coach Coaxum, thanks for your time today, and I wish you all the luck against Emory this week coming up, Coach. I look forward to chatting with you real soon. If you're in Atlanta recruiting, man, hit me up. I love to go grab some eat with you, man, and break with you some more, man.
That sounds good. I really appreciate it, man. They're down in Atlanta a lot. Recruited down there for years. I coached high school ball down at Henry County High School back in the early 2000s. So we definitely have some Georgia boys right now. Our freshman quarterback who balled out last week in his first game is right down there for Lithia Springs High School. So, we'll definitely be back down there, man. Thanks for having us.
Anytime, Coach. You be safe, brother.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z. Sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews. You name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. What's up, family? Jared the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to The Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.